Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? Let's expose Megan Thee Stallion's BOA today. Yes, BOA is more than just constricted snake. Okay. So first today is the day that Yahuah has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is going to be real quick, guys. So when this video came out a couple of years ago, I saw it and I was like, oh my goodness, it's named BOA. It's BOA, okay? And the first thing that came to me was Bank of America, okay? So basically, what happens, guys, is these people hide things, and I believe why they hide these things is because when they talk in code to one another around the world. I've seen things in movies, I've seen things in music videos and things like that that would kind of blow your mind that I've not really talked about out here on YouTube and Patreon. I have. But that will literally lead you to tunnels of things. They will put certain hotels that have real situations going on in there. And the viewer, they'll have restaurants. Maybe they're eating Italian foods like pizza or whatever. And these will be real places. And we have went deep down these rabbit holes, y'all. And they will be real places that real things. So these people talking code to each other around the world. I know people say Satan must expose himself, but never in the word of the Most High have I seen him force he to tell Eve, "Oh Eve, I'm deceiving you. Got to tell you, I'm deceiving you, girl." I've never seen him tell Yahusha, okay, when he was taking his fast, the 40-day fast. I've never seen him tell him, oh wait, hold on, wait a minute, hold Yahusha, before I try you these 3 times and tell you to, I know you're hungry, turn this stone into bread, or I'll give you all of these things in the world if you bow down and worship me, or if you jump up for this thing here, this cliff, this mountain, all the angels gonna come and help you out. I gotta warn you first. And yeah, because no, he's never had to warn you that he's gonna deceive you. That's the point of deceiving. You don't warn when you deceive and manipulate and trick. Okay. So what's really going on is these people is talking to one another in codes around the world because they're everywhere. And they're in everything, okay, from military to education to medical field to stay-at-home moms to everybody, fraternities, all of it. And this is how they speak, and they know these things. And this is just something I've been picking up on since I was a child. I used to call it double talk. People are double talking until I found out, oh, it's not double talk. It's like subliminal messaging, but they're kind of messaging each other, telling each other stuff. So what this is basically Megan Thee Stallion is being used. He because really Megan Thee Stallion is all about promoting the transgender culture. I have broke this down so many times. Megan Thee Stallion, I'm gonna say allegedly, is a dude. Megan Thee Stallion is a dude. But anyways, allegedly, right? But her, as well as her handlers, promotes transgenderism, and this does also have to do with prophecy. But anyways, let me go back. See, this is why I need a script. BOA is Bank of America. Now, I told you guys, if this is your first time hearing it, and in 2021, the Most High Yah gave me a dream. And in this dream, basically, my car was being torn, just torn from just different angles, different ways. And by the time I finished with the car, it looked almost like that car. If I can find the picture or whatever, I'll put it up here if I can do the editing on that. But the one that Jay-Z and Kanye, had in that I think it's called Otis video. I have to check to be sure. But basically my car was being stripped in the dream. And I woke up from the dream. I knew what it meant. I just had knowledge and I knew and understood it meant the economy was going to collapse. Well, this was right after, like a day or two after I had the dream that Pharaoh had, where in which Joseph interpreted it. with the 7 fat and the 7 skinny cows. So I had that dream, but it was 3 cows, fat and 3 skinny in my dream. Right after that, I have this dream about my car being stripped. The Most High, he gave me a knowing this is an economic collapse. Then he told me it's going to be a depression. It's going to be worse than the 1930s. He used another term, y'all. I lost my dream books and my notes and stuff. But he used another term. He was telling me like this depression is going to be the worst thing ever, basically. Um, he told me cannibalism would be a thing. People would eat their children. He told me that it was going back to the basics, basically. Um, there would be no jobs. There would be no, there would be a famine. There would be no medications. He went into detail and he told me more and more stuff about time. So he started even telling me stuff because I know how to make medicine and stuff like I started learning about herbs and stuff long time ago, right? When I was into witchcraft, started learning stuff about medication and stuff like that, making stuff like that. See, I'm telling you, Romans 8:28 be on point, baby. Okay. All things work together, even if it's evil. Look, things work together for the good for those of us who love the Lord and called according to his purpose, right? So, anyways, he started telling me to make medications again and stuff like that. And stuff would not be in the stores. Um, started telling me that basically people's gonna have to be creative. It was going to have to do things outside of the box because no jobs, AI taking over all of the things. The dollar was gonna collapse. Okay. Um, it would be a lot of homelessness. People who never thought they would be homeless would become homeless. And guys, it's so crazy how when he told me these things, I started experiencing these things. Like, I kid you not, my landlord, and this is just my personal testimony, my landlord, after 12 years, I never had any issues with my landlord. In 12 years, I was late twice, two times for in 12 years. Late, like a week or two late, 12 years. And my landlord said, I no longer want to renew the lease with you. This was right after the Most High was giving me all this information. I had got saved. I came back to was a prodigal daughter. And so I came back after he told me to get on the ark. It's time to get on the ark. And so, anyways, I was like, this is spiritual. It's no way. I never had an issue with my landlord. All of a sudden, situations come up to now where I have an issue and they just want me when the lease is up, they just want me to go. This is crazy. I've never had an experience like this in my life, y'all. So, anyways, I feel like then it was on my homeless journey, which y'all, homelessness have levels to it. And so, anyways, that's what he told me was gonna happen. And I know while on it, and I'm still unhoused, homeless, whatever at this point. But I know he was saying there's levels to this thing, and he put me in all kinds of levels from sleeping outside to living in a car to living in a hotel to just different levels. I've had a lot of levels of this thing. Okay. And he told me, this is what people was going to be experiencing. I just didn't know I was going to be one of those people. My God, I didn't know I was gonna be one of them. Um, thank God he always made sure that I had food. Thank God he always made sure, even when I slept outside, it wasn't a rainy day that day. Um, I don't know. But yeah. So basically back to this Megan Thee Stallion thing and BOA, Bank of America is going to collapse. Okay. The stock market is going to collapse. All of the banks are going to collapse. I know that some people depend on credit unions and things like that. It's going to collapse. You have to understand we're going to have a global situation going on. And, we have things going on right now, like right now with the oil and stuff. Like, I didn't know this back when you told me this in 2021. I didn't know we would be having oil issues right now. They're saying that they only want to trade oil, trade money with the yuan. Iran is saying they only want to trade money. They no longer want to mess with USD dollars. So if you're going to trade money, you're going to make the Chinese rich because you're going to trade in yuans. And we know that BRICS is coming for the American dollar. And that is where certain nations coming together, Brazil, Russia, India, China, um, South America, well, I think Saudi Arabia, is several other ones, but that's what the BRICS part stand for. And they are basically saying, hey, listen, we're going to be using our own currency. We're no longer going to be using the US dollar anymore. And as far back as I've seen them with my research with bricks, they have been doing this since 2012. They have been building bricks, building this thing, bricks, right? And so, I'm seeing that happen. I'm seeing the economy crashing. I'm seeing so many businesses since 2020 collapsing. Um, American Gods, I think it's called. I remember watching that. Everyone was telling me, you need to watch that. This is what I used to decode stuff all the time. That's all my whole channel pretty much was about. And I go and I watch it. And I remember seeing a scene on there where the guy Wednesday, he's in this mall. It's like going out of business. Everything's going out of business. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's the economy crash and everything's going out of business. And it was like this whole mall and every store was like 80% off, 90% off, going out of business. And I was like, they're telling us in these shows what's going on, y'all. Some things are more subliminal and you can't pick up. Some things is right there in your face. If you pay attention, it's like boom, okay, the day after tomorrow, boom, it's gonna be a tsunami. You know, boom, it's gonna be an earthquake. But some stuff is a little more subtle, like BOA, right? Like you think you're watching this hip hop girl dancing naked, right? And a snake killing three people that's playing the video game, which all that is symbolic for other things. But I'm just talking about the BOA right now, okay? Because it's about the economy crashing. And I told you we're going to be talking about how we're going to be preparing for this, which I'm about to make a video on that shortly. But you need to definitely be in prayer. You need to be seeking the Messiah. And one, you need to be repenting, right? You need to be asking for forgiveness of sins daily. You need to make a change. You need to have a relationship with Him, build a relationship with Him through prayer, fasting, talking to Him, reading the Word, finding out who He is and His character. Basically, spending quality time with Him. Honey, act like that is your man, okay? Just spend some quality time with Him to find out who He is, who He operates, how He works, what's His character, what's His personality. And He's going to lead you and guide you, all right, through everything that you need to do. Because you're gonna need to ask him, what do you do with your money, right? Because when it crash, they just going, because he came back and he keeps saying this word and he suddenly, 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 and it was this song. It's by Luther Vandross. Okay, this is just, he talks to me all kinds of ways. Okay, it's the song by Luther Vandross, and it goes, wake up and suddenly you're in love. I can't sing for nothing, so don't try me like that. Okay, but anyways, wake up and suddenly he preached. This was about 3 years ago. He said, wake up and suddenly, and he stopped. And then he gave me the knowing that the economy is going to crash. It's going to be like an overnight thing. You're going to wake up and suddenly everybody's going to be broke. Wake up and suddenly the NFL players is broke. Wake up and suddenly thing you work for is. Wake up and suddenly they just going to steal all your money. Wake up and suddenly, but there is another part to that because he said, wake up and suddenly people who ain't have nothing, they're going to have it all. They're going to be wealthy. They're going to, the last will be first and the first will be last, sort of, the same, right? So when he keeps telling me wake up and suddenly, and he's told me this about different things. So not just about the economy, but he's told me about the war. Wake up and suddenly they're gonna be right here on this ground. Wake up and suddenly Russian and Chinese warriors are gonna be here on your soil. But in this case, in this situation, wake up and suddenly that thing ain't gonna be there, baby. Bank of America is not gonna be there. And it's not just Bank of America. But for whatever reason, maybe people trust in Bank of America so much because it has the America part in it. I don't know. But I would probably be getting my money. I mean, if you ain't don't need your money for to pay a bill because now they force you to pay bills online. Like who mails their light bill, they rent, they mortgage, they lights, who mails their car notes, who mails anything anymore. Nobody does Western Union and cashiers. Nobody does that. Okay. So they do it in a way where you kind of but you ain't gotta put all your money in there. And what he was telling me in 2021 is you need to take your money. And I started doing it. I actually started taking money, my savings, right? And you need to start buying things now. And I'm going to talk about this in another video. But you need to start buying things now because your money has more power today in 2021 than it will later. You need to start getting canned goods. You need to start getting things, tents. You need to start getting things because your dollar's not going to be worth anything. As we see, he has not lied, right? Because from 2021 to 2026, there has been a big difference in every single thing. Okay. And it all adds up. So, anyways, yes, you might want to think about putting your money into other things, other assets. You need to ask him exactly what to do. One thing I would say is silver and gold, because here's the thing. Um, the dollar is not going to be around. I don't know when all these things are going to take place, to be very honest. But the dollar is not going to be around. So people are going to be trading in silver and in gold. People still believe in God's money, which is silver and gold. They may also start trading in copper or other precious metals. They will be bartering. Told you that in my other video about the famine that you need to learn how to barter. You need to get items to barter with. But silver and gold, crypto, because also another thing that they're doing is the CBDCs, the central banking, CBD, central banking, something child basically is digital money that they can control and that they can program. Okay. And I've been yelling about this for about 7 or 8 years. People, the CBDCs is coming connected to your social credit score. This stuff that you're already doing in communist places like China. Um, and you basically comply. If you don't comply, then they can program your money to work or not work in certain stores, certain things, and control if you have money at all. Things like that control where you live, what school your children go to, control what kind of car you have, if you even get the luxury of having a bike. Okay. And that's what the world is going to be, basically. Complete and full control. So right now, I would suggest that you pray and you ask the Most High, what do I put my money in? Like I say, he told me, silver, gold, start planting the food, um, buy stuff that you'll need for later, which I did all of that. I did everything he said to do. I'm not going to rant about it in this video. And like, Father, what happened? Like, everything you said to do in the back on me, right? Um, but anyways, yes, that's what I would suggest. And because this thing is going to be global. Some countries is going to be better than other countries. Some countries actually, and this was reported on Deagle and like 20 what 14 something like that 15. I remember that Deagle said that the population, I think they said by 2026, America would only have 60 something million people in it. And I remember them showing different parts of world where some populations were more, but a lot of populations was much less, much less, much less, like America, okay? Because I think we're like, what, 400 million plus? Well, they saw 60 something million by 2026. And they actually said it was due to economic collapse. And I'm thinking, how do you, from economic collapse, but I mean, a lot of people don't even know how to grow food, plant food. Who knows if the Most High, right? Because the plagues are coming back. So we don't even know if he's going to even provide rain, sun, and things like that to grow food if you know how to do it. I mean, I don't know because I was thinking, I would think something nuclear would happen. with a population of 400,000 down to 60, 400 million to 60 million, I think a nuclear situation will happen. But you know what? We are not our ancestors, right? Our ancestors knew how to live off of the grid. They had no other choice. They knew no such thing. And now we are different. We depend on the grid for everything, for communications, for food, for utilities, for water, for driving, getting around transportation. I mean, they used what, buggies and horses and, yeah, things like that. Camels in other countries, maybe even here, I don't know. Feet. Right. But so yeah, these are things that, what he told me to do, right? He might tell you to do something different. He might tell you to get a passport and just leave. And then tell you when you leave, now this is what you need to do. Everybody's journey is different, just like everybody's spiritual journey is different. Everybody's physical journey is going to be different. Um, so, anyways, yes, be careful of that. Prepare, 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 pray, repent, because he's only going to be looking out for his children. At the end of the day, this is judgment on the wicked. All right. Not saying that we won't get hit by some of it, because even though Goshen was right there by Egypt, they got some of the stuff too, but it didn't affect them like it affected Egypt. Okay. I want to say the first three plagues, like the blood water, they got some of the effects. But then other plagues, they got like the frogs, they didn't get that, but the Egyptians did get that. And yes, most of them did. So many plagues were coming back. I'm gonna make another video on that one. But anyways, yeah, guys, that's it for this video. So Megan Thee Stallion and her crew, her handlers, they're definitely telling you. I mean, she is a stallion, or it is a stallion after all, right? And what is a stallion? It's a horse. And a black horse. I'm just saying. What's some revelations that we talk about a lot? The four horses of the apocalypse. So, anyways, with that, that's it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Shalom.